Hello everyone, I'm Bishi, and tonight we are playing more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're playing more Resolve. We are in episode 4, and I think we're still in the first day of the trial, but it's like, I think we're on recess right now or something. I don't know. We're gonna have to jump in so I can remember, but I do have my notes. Once we get in there, I guess I'll read over this a little bit. Yeah, I think recess just started. Gonna go play. 2nd November, 12:33 p.m. Old Bailey at Defendant's Antechamber. Let's just hope my voice survives. 4 hours of this. We'll see. We'll see.
There you are, Odo.
What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Gina.
You sure about what you said in there? That the boss, you know, actually died the day before? It's pretty hard to swallow. Oh, right.
Okay, that is something we learned, isn't it? Okay, let me read my notes. Let me see. See, it says, next time, as in today, we'll be cross-examining the two redheads from the Red-Headed League because Gregson was investigating them stealing money. We know this because he was wearing a red wig when he was killed, so maybe he found something out and they killed him, is what I think. Okay. We also learned that the murderer could have set a time bomb on the candles with firecrackers to make it seem like Gregson was killed the next day, but he's actually... So the time of death we're thinking is the day before. Okay. Okay. And then we have a broken watch that stopped at 5, but it turns out that it can be wound with the police key and it's able to work. So that means the time of death might not be when the watch stopped. I think that's really all I need to know for right now. And hopefully that's fine. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that the boss died the day before.
Yes. I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina.
As was I. Possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. I was more shocked than all of you put together. Oh, so it is a competition. Okay, liar. Okay. Welcome in, Alfred. How are you doing? Gina did it. I think so. She wanted to take Gregson's place. It all makes sense now. We can't say this about Gina. She is baby. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes. It's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission.
Oh dear. If it was deliberate, it puts me in mind of the last case we worked on. Dr. Scythe.
No. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zeeks discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, so perhaps something happened with them. Come to think of it, you had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose.
The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean. That's right, Suze, and it was me what took 'em in. Thanks to a tip-off by a good, law-abiding citizen.
Indeed, yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, a likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuth-hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income.
time with the same brush as you, Sholmes.
Yes, well. Then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zeeks for some reason.
The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zeeks,
and Cosimo. I feel as though he knew we would arrive at this point somehow.
Gosh, I think you're right.
What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over very shortly. Yes, you're right. Cosimo was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet.
Probably.
I think this is only the third stream of this case so far. Are you ready then, Miss Usato?
Yes.
Gotta do it! Okay. 2nd November, 1 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. There he is. Vampire Daddy in the flesh. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Barak Van Zeeks, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Sogi. My lord? Have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, 2 members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the 2 men into the courtroom. Oh god. New voices. I think technically I've read dialogue from them before, but it was a while ago, so I don't remember. These 2 men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. The spaghetti. Infinite spaghetti! Maybe they killed Gregson to steal his infinite food hack. And now they have infinite spaghetti. Oh, are they French? We're not doing French today. I'm sorry, we're not doing French today. I think we're gonna have to figure out their voices as we go. I am Fabian de Rousseau, a descendant of the great... Oh, no, it's, Oh, well, yeah, it is French, okay. A descendant of the great de Rousseau family from Nice and France.
And my name is Peppino de Rossi.
Probably Italian?
I am the 3rd son of the great Familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli.
Yep. We're not gonna be doing good voices today. I'm just telling y'all that now. I can't go too hard on the voices. I was sick for a month. I'm just trying to be low-key about it. So they're not gonna be great. Hey Panda, welcome to Infinite Spaghetti Ended World Hunger. That's what they should be using it for, but instead I think they're using it for crimes. The 2 men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility. So you're from nobility, but you're criminals. Okay. No voices refund. They're gonna have voice. I'm speaking. Is this not a voice you're hearing in your ear right now? There's always voices. Voices. Those who graduate from Temsic are the future leaders of Europe. But, do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Alors, I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little grey cells of my brain. Your little brain cells? That is what I am trying to do. So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out? Oui. You could say that.
Not bad, eh? He has the grand ideals, but the petty plans. This strange combination is at the charm of the hilarious brothers. See, couple.
Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you.
Eh, che? Are you about to tell me one of your grand anecdotes? Evviva!
Firstly, I want you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, we are not the alias brothers. This is serious business.
Che bello! There it is! The capo's trump card! The furrowed brow! It is deep, oh, capo? The furrow and the meaning of your words.
Court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true? Nobility criminals, what's the difference? You're telling me.
Oui, c'est ça.
And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you planned to defraud?
Alors, I will explain. No, capo. Leave it to me. As you will see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At the school, we were teased for this without piety. The capo here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse crying like the Trevi fountain. Away, those dogs! One day the world will respect us, redheads. Every night he would bury his head in his pillow and weep.
C'est bien, Peppino. Enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. It's becoming like Italian-French at this point. It's fine. They hang out so much that they both just kind of mix up their own accents. That's what's happening. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled To the Red-Headed League.
Oui, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it.
It states that the only condition for joining the League is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted, you could receive a weekly income of £4. Frantalian, yes. Instead of Spanglish, it's Frantalian. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement, and from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings.
And with the money, to France. It was a plan most elegant, no?
No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick.
The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk like a coster's orange barrow.
And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face-to-face with every single person present the day.
Oui, I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life. See, and now, every time I see the capo's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today?
Sorry?
The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told.
Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph.
Of course. We are always ready to help with the law.
You know the food is good when you eat Frantalian food? Escargot ravioli? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. Would be a good French-Italian dish. Some kind of... I mean, you're on the right track. Some kind of pasta mixed with something French. Baguette pizza. I mean, you could cut a baguette in half and then put pizza toppings and stuff on it and make a baguette pizza. That could work. Ratatouille lasagna. A veggie lasagna? No, it's like lasagna, but it's just kind of served and the ratatouille style. So you just have sections of lasagna just kind of like in a little circle. With sauce on the top. Some of these could work. Maybe. Maybe. Oui baguette. Yeah, there we go. I just have to keep repeating that to myself and I'll get it. Spaghetti cream puffs. Spaghetti spinach puffs, though? I don't think that's really a combination of any cultures. Now I'm hungry. It happens. It happens. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Eh, capo? Oh, I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now, but I assure you, he was not in the park. Allora, this victim has nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Oui. I am quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise. It must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances. Uffa. With this attitude, we get to nowhere, huh? He's really sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary, dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover. Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh? That is ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, which means it's quite possible that's when he was killed. Very well. Defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Yes, my lord. Man in the photograph. I forgot to mention this. My mom calls Craig, the dog, Craigery. And my sister calls him Craigathy. They sound very similar. Why would they make the name longer? Don't you usually shorten a name? Why aren't we shortening to Crop? Or Cray, like crayfish. Welcome in, Arkham. It's Sherlockin' and Poppin' time. Ooh! That's a good line, Arkham. I'm writing that down if you don't mind. I'm gonna write that down for my next stream title. Sherlockin' and Poppin'. Well, it'd be Herlockin' and Poppin'. I'm gonna use that. You will not receive any royalties. I call him Craig, but sometimes I call him Craigie. So who named the dog Craig? Who did this crime? Oh, your sister. Jail. No, I'm just kidding. Single syllable names sound odd if you yell it out enough times. 2 syllables minimum sounds right. Craig! Craig, down! Craig, bad boy! I'm not surprised. We don't even get dental or PTO at Bishi Inc. Are the birds not enough? Are the burbs not enough? You'll survive. Jimothy. Now that's a name. Just name a dog Jim. Jim, come here, Jim. Jim, no. Jim. Jim, down. You could just be yelling at your cousin. You won't be able to tell. He looks like a Craig. Craig the dog. Alright, we had more than 1,000 redheaded people in the park.
Hold it!
1,000 people? That's a very big crowd.
It was quite a spectacle. Redheads had come all from all over the capital. See, the capo here. He has the magnetismo animale. Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the capo.
All those people wanted was the money, Peppino. The £4 per week. Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants? Oui, that we did. Because every one of them paid us 5 shillings.
We take their names and we take their money. And we take their addresses as well.
Not the doxing.
Then I tell them we take some days to let them know by a post. È finito. Maybe 2 minuti a person. We start early in the morning and we stop late in the night.
So you earned 5,000 shillings in a day? That's a small fortune. Who'd have thought there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? One of whom was a great detective with chemically altered hair. Italian, yeah. Rossi is Italian, and the other one is French. Jim Fourpaws is his full name. BishiDove. BishiDove. Jack Lynx. Now that's a dog's name. No! It's like calling a dog hot dog. Hot dog! Which I'm sure someone's done. I know for a fact there's probably at least 100 weenie dogs that have been named hot dog. Just hot dog. Or weenie. I don't know. Weenie! Come here, weenie! Weenie! What a good weenie! Weenie, sit! Weenie's actually a good Glizzy. Glizzy, no! Glizzy. Aw. Glizzy, sit! Glizzy, play dead! I don't recall the man in this photograph.
Hold it!
He doesn't look at all familiar.
No, I don't think so. And this is a wig, eh? He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people.
They trick people. Says the con artist. Uh-huh. Between them, they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair. It would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face.
No, signore. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park.
But he's not going to give the court a definite, it seems.
Hey, capo? You didn't see a man like this, huh?
Don't step on my weenie! Hey, watch it, man! My weenie's walking here! Sorry, I can't hang out. I'm busy petting my weenie. Best weenie in the whole world. Welcome in, Zoe. Yeah, we're talking about, you know, Weenie. The best dog name ever. I don't remember him. Obviously, he's dead, but I assure you he was not in the park.
Hold it!
According to what you've said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day.
Oui, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day.
Surely, then, you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present?
Normally, the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it is just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, maybe then we would recall.
Franziska von Karma followed me. Just don't whip us, please! Welcome in. Thanks so much for the follow. Yes, dog, yes. We were talking about Break the dog. And then... What happened after that? How did we get to this? We're talking about naming a dog Jim. And then... Oh, and then Jack Links, and I was like, okay, you might as well name it Weenie or Hot Dog. Something like that. Hello, Ruuuvo. I see you. You've been spotted. Yeah, the new Switch, right? Finally got around to announcing it. Supposedly it's gonna be... People were saying 400. I don't know if that's confirmed yet. They're supposed to be doing some other announcement to talk about it more, but we just kind of got like a sneak peek at it. I saw that it's like a little bigger than the original Switch. But what I don't like is the new Joy-Cons and how they attach to the Switch, because that will probably break off really easily. A lot of people were talking about that. So I don't know. We might be getting a Disaster Joy-Cons 2.0. Because the Joy-Cons as they are now already are not great. They break so easily, but that just seems like it's not gonna work. But we'll see. We'll see. I will most likely not be getting a Switch 2 like immediately when they release. We still have our Switch. I'm using it right now. I'm streaming from it right now. It works great. My only thing is if they start releasing exclusives for the Switch 2, and I really want them, I'll have to get the Switch 2, so I don't know. I'm worried that they're gonna put the Okami, the teased Okami game onto it, and it's gonna be exclusive. I really hope not. I hope that it's gonna also be on the old Switch, but... Because that game would definitely make me want to buy the Switch 2, just so I can play Okami again. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, Peppino from Pizza Tower. Yeah. I got my calendar marked for the Nintendo Direct. I just want cool new game announcements. When is it? I'll put it on mine too. I didn't see when it was going to be. Let me know. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, huh? Oh, he's like telling him what to say. If there was a man with a red earpiece, but his mustache did not match the color, then I do not think I would have forgotten. Cosmo said these two had only been shown that photograph, and they'd been told nothing else at all. But what if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example, oh. Yeah, let's see. Either his name, his profession, or his fish and chips. The fish and chips might be the key here. I feel like that's what would stand out to them. You know? I'm gonna say it. It might not be right, but I'm still gonna say it. April 2nd. Okay. I'll write that down. That's actually quite a ways from now. That's actually Poppy's birthday. I think she's turning... I mean, we don't actually know how old she is for sure. Our guess is that I think she's turning 8 this April. Okay, we're doing the Nintendo Direct. Okay. Nintendo Direct. I'll probably figure out the time when it gets closer. Back in January. I don't know what I would do if I did not have a planner for stream. I would lose track of so much. So much. Welcome in, Weird Normal. Howdy. Professor Layton is the only game that can get me to get the new Switch. Oh, yeah, they talked about a new Professor Layton game, didn't they? But then, like, we haven't heard anything about it since then, I don't think. I know it's coming, so I'm already annoyed. Yeah. I'm really scared about that for Okami. I would also love to play a Professor Layton game. I've never played one before, but I know a lot of people who like Ace Attorney like that series, so... I really don't want to upgrade my Switch unless I have to, you know? Like, I really would only want to get a Switch 2 if our current Switch just went kaput somehow, but we take really good care of it, and it's been working great still, so I don't know. I will say, Kiwami was a little laggy the last couple days, but I think that's probably more so the port than the console in general. Although the Switch is not great with graphics and stuff, so I'm hoping the Switch 2 is a big improvement on that whenever I do feel like I have to upgrade, but... it's confirmed backwards compatible with the Switch. Yes, I'm happy for that. And I think the recess on the Joy-Cons are deep enough to stop it from breaking, but who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I really liked the way that these go on the Switch. I think it worked fine. I saw some people talking about why they might have changed it, but... So to you, the sliding mechanism wasn't that much better, considering after a year it was... Okay. I never have had an issue with it. But I can believe that. It's his thing, it's gotta be the right answer. I know, I hope so. I hope it is. Yeah, and then people will think that they were showing a new Mario Kart. Maybe it's just Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Mega Star Edition. Remake. Redux. Okay, his fish and chips. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly? Not really. I was looking only at the heads of the applicants. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips any more than the caviar and smoked salmon.
Or the spaghetti. Me? I love the spaghetti.
Really? I had no idea. That's probably not it.
Tell them again what you said before, Peppino. Si, capo, si. I say it again and again.
Well, his head was eating the fish and chips, right? That's his face! You would see him stuffing the fish and chips into his face. Okay, maybe we should do that again. I can actually load to get us there faster. It's not bad. Oh, it is that one. Yeah. Okay, that one. 400 for the Switch 2 seems steep when the Steam Deck is $350 at the cheapest. I would expect the Switch 2 to be better than a Steam Deck. Yeah. That's true. And there's a lot of Nintendo... Well, does Steam have a lot of Nintendo games? I'm trying to think. There's certainly a lot of games that are on the Switch that are also on Steam. But I don't know if, like, Mario Kart is on there. Stuff like that. So, there's some stuff I think that's only on the Switch. No? Okay, so it's either his name or his profession. I guess profession, but I don't know if he would have just told them he was a detective. We'll try it. What if I told you that the man in the red hairpiece was actually a detective?
The man in the photograph, a detective?
Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito.
Sorry, but this changes nothing.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me.
Something to add, Mr. De Rossi? I like his blank look. Just the blank look in his eyes.
See, I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper.
What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance?
Eh? What did he just say? About the detective?
Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. It's Italian French at this point.
But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard.
Oh, he just straight up told them. Good lord.
Order, order.
Explain this volte-face in your testimony, witness.
It's simple. A man who was at the park said to us that he was an inspector.
There was no such man.
Madai, what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh?
I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park.
Basta, Capo, basta. You beat me at the many things, but not two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a fasta.
But you are inferior to me in every other way. So shut up.
Objection!
They're both mad. Drop guard. The damage is done. Indeed it is, sir. Yeah, he already said it. He already said it. Hey, broski, welcome in. Not a thought going on in that head, I know. Just a sweet little child. Don't know no things. It's okay. He only needs to know spaghetti. That's okay. Yeah, Nintendo doesn't release any first parties on other consoles, so most Nintendo first party aside from Bayonetta is exclusive. So that's the only thing. If you really like Nintendo games, Mario, Zelda, which I do, you have to have a Switch, so. I don't know if it will be technically better than a Steam Deck, but I would expect you're also paying for the lightweight, detachable controllers, and Nintendo. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Oui, there was a man who came to the park, and he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can you be so sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different.
See, it's true, it's true. The man who came was a younger. His face was clean-shaven. His eyes were sadder. His chin was thinner.
No resemblance whatsoever, then. Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof.
See, the capo here. He doesn't take a no-nonsense, eh?
But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification? That is most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord? Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question. Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? Clearly, the papers were fake.
Certo, capo. You are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh?
And what happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said, you are under investigation.
So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park.
Well,
it was fantastico. And look, here is the identification.
So you stole it from the man?
He had it coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said he was.
Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for those identification papers to be entered into evidence.
But I like them.
The identification of a man claiming to be a detective inspector confiscated by Rousseau and Rossi. Let's check it out. Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. No picture, huh? And I was hoping there'd be a photo. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it?
Out of interest, what name is given?
Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Bias Gregson. Wait, what?
This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me.
But how?
And the department and identification number details are all correct as well.
Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say...
I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard.
That's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? Oh. Inspector Gregson's police identification. The official warrant card issued to him by Scotland Yard. Okay, so he just told them he was a detective and what his name was, and then they chased him out? They chased Gregson out of the park? Oh no. Let us return to the witness's testimony. Okay. So now that it says it's real, we can probably show it as evidence to something of like, look, you did meet with him. This is literally his ID. Apparently Nintendo already produced 20 million Switch 2s. Make sure it's not another PS5 scenario. Oh man, yeah. PS5 launch was horrendous. I think it's finally calmed down more now. People are actually able to like get PS5s pretty easily now, but even when I got one, I think like a year or two after release, it was difficult. I hope with the new Switch, the eShop gets cleaned up. Shopping on the eShop is a little nightmare. Yeah, it's so laggy and hard to find stuff. Yeah. I hope on the Switch 2, any digital games I have can be downloaded onto it without buying them. Oh, that's a big deal. Yeah. I'm sure that they're tied to your Nintendo account and that you would be able to do that. I'm sure they should be in some form of a cloud if they're not downloaded on an SD card. It said it will play any Nintendo Switch games, digital or physical. Okay. Maybe someone stole his ID and pretended to be him. That's also an idea. That's true. That's true.
Hey, Peach Man. Welcome in. Happy Thursday.
Let's see. So... I guess we'll keep pressing.
Hold it!
So, I have 2 Switches and only 1 copy of Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I can play it on both? Or you're like asking? I didn't have to buy it twice? No, I think that is true. Maybe it's something like they only allow you to have it downloaded on 1 Switch at a time. So that way you can't have 2 people playing. Because here's the thing too. If they let you do that, then you could share your copy of the game with multiple people and those people don't have to buy it, right? So it would go against their business practices. So I would hope that if you buy a Switch 2 and you want to download all your games and play them on that, you could simply use your Nintendo account to say like, here, I'm on this console now, uninstall from that one and reinstall on this one. Someone said they couldn't download their game to 2 Switches, but I've played with a different character on 1 island. Bring items to my new line. Oh, okay, okay. We've only ever had 1 Switch, so I literally don't know anything about like transferring to a new Switch or anything. We've got the Switch from launch when they first came out, and we never have had to deal with another Switch. I have no experience with it whatsoever, so I don't even know what the cases are. I got my PS5 through a lottery system Sony had on the website. I was on a waiting list and they emailed me when it was available. Yeah, I waited like a year or 2. It was when Ishin came out. I made sure to have a PS5 before it came out. And I think I just kept on top of when different places would release them. And I eventually snagged one from Best Buy. And I ordered it online and then picked it up. That's how I was able to do that. Okay. We only have your word for that.
I see. What else can we do, huh?
True.
Uffa. We are not having much of fun these days. First we are arrested, then we are shown the horrible picture of a dead man. And now you question every single thing we say.
We are the victims here. Eh, capo? No. You were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people. You had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. Eh, capo? He just ignores him. My friend bought my PS5 for me. I couldn't deal with watching for those random restocks. Oh, well, that's nice of them. That's a nice thing to do. Yeah, it was stressful. Especially, I was like, I have to have one now. I need it for the new Yakuza games, you know? You have a lot to answer for. It's your fault we got caught in the first place.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that?
Cavolo. Cavolo. You promised not to say, eh, capo?
After we had taken all the money that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the tickets for the ferry to Dunkirk to my companion here. But he bought them for the wrong day. Oops.
But is an easy mistake to make, huh? The 1st to 31st.
Oof. I have no sympathy for you. We were an all day late for the boat because of your stupidity. And it's only because of this that the so-called Great Red-Headed Detective caught us.
Capo, you know what I think? This is the work of God. It is a holy punishment, eh?
Peppino, for the last time. This is not holy punishment. This is only your fault.
Ah.
Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You are making me sick with anger.
Maybe I make a mistake, but when it's time to eat at the pasta, no one is a fasta.
Oh, so that's your tagline. Alright. He said it twice. I've seen the evidence. They haven't told us much we didn't already know. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, if it was in the inspector's diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to Lime Street that day. And yet, these two both claim they didn't see him.
I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies.
Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Sounding plausible is their specialty. They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well.
Surely if they were truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught.
Well, yes, you do have a point there. It seems to me like we need more information.
Definitely.
And then that's where you go back and tell them about the detective's job. Okay, so what do we do? I assure you he was not in the park. This victim has nothing to do with us. So I think I need to respond to either this or this. I think I'll respond to this one first. Surprised they didn't leave the country. Paris is like 2 hours train ride from that. They should have just left. Just walk at that point. Just walk out of the country. Alright. Present this.
Objection!
Yeah. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade. Why Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, Counsel? Is this really a fake, or is it genuine? That's the question. Which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection!
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her ID to be stolen.
That is the boss's. No question about it.
It can't be. As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation.
Sulor!
I thought Peppino's whole deal was pizza. Apparently now it's pasta.
But if the boss had his ID stolen, He would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on at me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he'd say.
Could it be that the inspector was physically unable to report it?
Physically? Eh? What are you saying?
Unable to? You're not suggesting. Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his ID stolen. No. I believe it. I think it's probably what happened, yeah. The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered at a different location. Okay. That's also something I didn't know about. Okay, so not body. Gregson might have been killed the day before. Somewhere else. So not at that house. Do you two have anything to say about that?
Away! I know nothing away! I know nothing away!
Pull yourself together, Peppino. Bon Dio, you can behave a little more like a master criminal than that, no?
Away! Now I wish I had returned to Italia! Away!
So stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, oh my god.
Stop your whining and stop talking.
Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story.
I know nothing away! I don't know nothing away!
But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome. Ugh. You will dry your eyes and testify again. About these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. Whenever he does the away, he just does the handshake.
Away! I don't know nothing away!
Crying out loud. Oh my god.
See, the truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's ID from him and shut him in the room next to ours. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next morning we let him go. He spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like prison, really. Away!
This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man?
But no, see, no, it was not like a prison. He was very comfortable and calm and happy. Hey, capo?
It was never part of my plan. I swear it.
Uffa. So you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong by one little day.
I do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it.
No. Per favor, capo. It's not fair.
You shall have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen.
Oof.
I don't believe this.
How could he have been a real detective?
Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination. So they didn't know he was a real detective this whole time. They might have killed him thinking he was just some normal dude. Ooh. On the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. The night before he was found, the two redheads imprisoned him in their hideout. The truth is we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. The FedEx delivery around here is so bad. They keep leaving boxes at my garage door instead of the front door, even though it's the same distance. I just checked my security cameras and this delivery driver walked past the door to leave it at the garage. That is so weird. What the heck? Why would they walk further? Huh. I guess a way to potentially try to fix it would be maybe having like a drop-off box or something at your door and have it like say packages, but then you're kind of like making it obvious for anyone to see that that's where all your packages are, because I know people like to like steal off of people's porches and stuff, so I don't know. It wouldn't matter because they don't even go to the front. Okay, so they wouldn't even see it. Put a sign in the garage, drop off at front door. Just passive aggressive. If you're reading this, you're at the wrong door. Go that way. You could have a trail of like snacks. Just have some bags of like of pretzels leading up to the front door. You did it. Good job. Here's your reward. Drop off at front door. You will be reported. Okay. Yes.
Hold it!
Do you realize what you're saying?
You'll have to believe me. I never intended for that to happen. And I'm sure the detective did not intend it either.
Do you think?
But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. This was the first time for the capo. He was at the end of his wits. I have told you before, Peppino. That is not the way to describe a criminal mastermind.
What about this hideout of yours?
An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street. We rented the place for 2 days. It was an inspired idea by the capo here.
An impulsive idea, I would say.
No, not impulsive, inspired, eh, capo? What am I supposed to say to that, Peppino?
And it was in the house described that you confined Inspector Gregson, was it? You know, I almost feel bad for him because I feel like because he's holding his stomach, he's like so anxious and nervous that his stomach hurts. And you know what? I can identify with that. So I feel kind of bad for this guy. I feel kind of bad for this French nobleman, but only a little. Only a little.
But you have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real inspector.
That doesn't quite add up, though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there?
Hmm? No, you are right. But we couldn't be completely certain.
Even though I didn't think he was real, I was too scared to let him go just in case.
Hold it!
Too scared? Why?
Because, why had he come to the park? We didn't know.
There was a chance that he had seen through my plan.
And if that wasn't the case, he would go straight to the police station to blow the whistle on us. Even if he was just feigning to be an inspector, he was up to no good, huh? Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I feel like there's something on my face. I don't see anything. I don't know. A phantom hair. I think most people would agree that it's you two who were up to no good.
Well, see, you may be right. Hey, capo.
The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner. What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his ID in the first place.
See, I ask myself the same question.
We were writing down the names and addresses of all the people who we took 5 shillings from that day. I have forgotten what name he said, but the address, it startled me.
See, address Scotland Yard, Homicide Division, he said.
Oh, what? He probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude. I just politely asked him why he had said it. And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his ID. What was Inspector Gregson playing at? Tell the court what happened next. You took him back to your hideout, you say.
See, we did.
You took the man's ID and shut him in the room next to ours. That being this ID book here, correct?
See, that is the one.
What made you believe that it was a forgery?
I never seen a real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this man. Allora, I was thinking, it must be falso, eh, capo?
Oui, it is just as Peppino has said. We were convinced it was not genuine.
And so together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive.
All we did was shove him inside a locked room. Then we made preparations to transport all of the money. In for a penny, in for a pound. Okay. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next morning let him go.
Hold it!
What do you mean by a little tussle exactly?
Oof, it was nothing. Just a minor incident. The falso inspector, he was a real piece of work. Eh, Campo?
What happened?
Uffa, it was a disaster. We gave him a nicer room, and what does he do, huh? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator.
Can you blame him?
We chased him, bien so, and we caught him again. Can you blame us?
Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you?
Zut! Who do you think we are? Of course not. I simply caught hold of him again and took him back to the room.
Oh? I'm eating the spaghetti! He's in heaven right now. He's really enjoying that bite right now.
Excuse me.
Mr. DeRossi, something wrong? I? Me? Something Mr. DeRousseau just said seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about?
Cavolo, at times like that, you don't want to have the capo after you, believe me. And I speak from personal experience.
Personal experience? That is enough, Peppino. There is no need to say more.
The truth is, the night before we put the red-headed leak plan into action, I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away.
It's a shame you didn't manage.
But the capo here, he came after me like the turbine, huh? And he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it, eh, capo?
Bruises, you say?
Ah, you wanna see, huh? You wanna see my fantastical bruises?
That's enough now, Peppino. No one wants to look at any part of you.
What to do, huh? I show you, or I don't. I show you, or I don't.
You do! Now!
Allora, if everybody wants to see, then I do it! Ecco, you see? It's still very visible, eh?
That red ring around your neck? You got that when you were dragged back to the house?
See, the capo, sometimes he is very rough.
I said that's enough. That's not okay! Peppino's neck has nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word. Yes. What is your opinion, counsel? About this red ring around Mr. DeRossi's neck? Wonder, does it matter? I think so! That's terrible. Mr. DeRossi, I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck.
Aye, capo? You see? Everyone is interested in what I say, huh?
Ugh. Well, now I want his stomach to hurt. He deserves it. Very well. You will amend your testimony as requested, Mr. DeRossi. Amend you testimony. That's the second typo I think I've seen today, actually. I ignored the other one because I wasn't quite sure if it was a typo, but...
See, if you really wanted to know.
He tried to escape, but the capo put the collar on him and dragged him back, like what he did to me. Is there any evidence of him having a bruise on his neck? I don't know if we've checked. And it doesn't say anything. Okay.
Hold it!
Are you saying that red mark was caused by...
See, a big collar made from the leather.
Wait, like a collar? A leather collar. Is this true, Mr. Deverso?
What? We had a Saint Bernard at home when I was younger. It is a souvenir from that time, with a very strong chain.
Strong chain? And you put that around your friend's neck?
I'm sorry. I was so angry that he was leaving me alone. You did not have to tie the chain to the leg of the bed, though, huh? I would not have tried to run again.
Oh, that's terrible! You didn't do that to Inspector Gregson, did you?
Treat the people equal is the capo here's motto, eh?
It's starting to sound a lot more like a prison all of a sudden.
The capo is a tough, but the capo is a rough. I shouldn't have done it.
So, the following morning, when you released the inspector...
He had a red ring around his neck just like me. Peppino, s'il vous plaît, leave it now. Now you know, huh? The capo here, you don't want to tangle with him, eh? But for the inspector, he's not so bad.
Freaky! A little freaky! But the night in the nice room, it was nothing like prison. I'm sure this is going to be new information that I need to respond to, but I don't know if we have any evidence for it. Or why it matters.
Hold it!
You took away the man's freedom. However comfortable you make it sound, you were still holding him prisoner.
If you say that, then I say this. There is something that takes away our freedom too. The lack of our money. So we are the prisoners as well, huh? All of us.
Huh?
No money, no freedom. This is the truth. It makes me mad. And it makes me sad. What can we do?
Well... If you feel so disenfranchised, take money to court. Though it'll cost you, of course.
Oof. There you have it. You see, that is why we need the Red-Headed League to fight for the justice.
Perhaps he has a point.
No, Mr. Naruhodo. All we did was to give the man a comfortable place to sleep for the night. And you say it was a prison, huh? Huh?
Perhaps he has a point again.
No again, Mr. Naruhodo. We should have heard them snoring. Madai, if anyone was disturbed, it was us.
Not much to go on, really.
Their testimony does make me wonder, you know. About this pocket watch belonging to the inspector, I mean.
Oh. Ah yes, the one he treasured so much, apparently. If he was confined but not restrained, as the witnesses are implying, he would still have been able to wind his watch. That's very true. So did Inspector Gregson actually die while he was being held captive by these redheads? In which case, is it possible that these two young men are responsible for Inspector Gregson's... To be honest, I find that hard to believe. Perhaps we should try to find out exactly what happened. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo, yes. the rule on hints? I usually don't want any unless I ask for some. Like, I don't know what to do right this second, but I'm gonna go look at the dialogue again and look at our evidence again. And if I feel like I'm stuck for a while, I'll ask for a hint. But I don't want one quite yet. I definitely like to try to think it through first on my own without any hints at all. I appreciate you asking first. Okay. We took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. I was too scared to let him go just in case he was a detective. We took his ID and shut him in the room next to ours. Okay. He tried to escape, but he put a collar on him and dragged him back. Like what he did to me. But then we don't have evidence that he had a mark like that. I mean, maybe I could present something and say he doesn't have any... There's nothing... Maybe I could just present the autopsy and be like, there was no mark in the autopsy, so what are you talking about? He spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like a prison. Okay. So we have the article... Okay. Mr. Vigil, which we've not even brought him up. Yeah, this is still, and then that's Mrs. Vigil. It was on the desk at the crime scene, which is weird. This is the wig that Gregson wore. This is supposedly the murder weapon. Okay. And then this is the key for the watch. And then even Susanto brought up the watch. I might want to look at that again. This is the candle. Photograph. I do have an idea of maybe presenting the autopsy report, because it doesn't mention a mark on the neck. Yeah, so apparently Gregson was shot, so that's where this is going to end up at some point. Whether they shot him or someone else did it. This is the floor plan, the notice board, the firecrackers that sound like a gun, which would have been attached to the candle to make it sound like he was shot on the day of. Okay. He's curled up and then he has the wig on. We can't really see his neck. And then the watch. Let's see, what does it say? Pocket watch that he wound without fail every day. Having wound it up, it started ticking again. And then Susanto was saying, how could he have wound it? Or how could he not have wound it if his hands were free? Okay. So maybe she's telling me to present the watch? If I present... So I can either do the autopsy to this, or I could do the watch to... maybe this? Okay. I'm going to try the autopsy idea first, and then the watch. And then if those don't work, I might want a hint.
Objection!
Just so we're not stuck here for a long time. Okay, so that was not right. Let's try the watch on the last dialogue. I could even have the dialogue wrong and the evidence right. Who knows? Okay, watch. Okay, well, what else could I respond to if it's the watch? Nothing like a prison. Took his ID and shut him in the room next to ours. I guess I'll just respond to this. I don't know.
Objection!
It's not that. Okay. I didn't think I would get stuck this early. It has to be this dialogue that I need to respond to, right? Because this is a new thing that I got. Unless we don't want to add it to the testimony, it's not necessary. There was an option to say it's not important. But... put a collar on him and dragged him back. Well, I could also try presenting the photo. I guess, to show, like, he doesn't have a mark.
Objection!
Oh, it is the photo. Okay, okay. The day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, no. It was not like that. It was hardly a prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was only. However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is this, counsel? I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. You will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck. Okay, so I was on the right track. Okay. Eh? But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning. And I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have. Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we would expect to see bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. DeRossi. Indeed, that is most peculiar. But what do we tell you, huh? Huh? We say this from the beginning, many times. Where? Oui, Peppino is right. The man in the photograph. He is someone different to the man we held captives that night. Order, order! It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all.
Objection!
Huh. If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's ID? This is a genuine ID book, issued by Scotland Yard. I guess someone stole it, yeah. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself. And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day, which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely. The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person come to be in possession of the real Inspector's ID? Does the defense have some plausible explanation, counsel? The whole thing defies explanation. It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Naruhodo. Because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie. No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Okay, we're going somewhere. We're going somewhere. Gotta save. These witnesses are honestly my favorites. I love them so much. They are very silly. They are very silly. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment is revealed by information in the court record, I believe. Good gracious! Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay. Let me see if I can figure out where he's going with this. I mean, it could be Mr. Vigil, right? He might be coming into play now. No, it was Gossip. He has a mark on his neck. Oh, I forgot about that. I'm so glad it's showing in the picture. I think I even wrote about it because I think he talked about it. He talked about it in his testimony. I must have written it down, but that was like a few weeks ago. Oh, that was like a month ago, wasn't it? I've been sick. Yeah. The the gossip guy with a fat lip, I wrote, has a bruise around his neck like he was strangled. So if I scrolled up, I could have seen that too, but okay. Interesting. So they had gossip. I'm so glad I kept looking. And then he has the mark too. So they probably purposely put it visible there so you can see that. Okay. We got it. I hate that lip so much. It's so gross. And it jiggles around a lot. Yeah, it jiggles too much, exactly. Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. So why don't you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you've apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi? So this implies that Gossip stole the ID from Gregson, and then you have to wonder, how did he do that? He killed Gregson and stole his stuff. An imposter. Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time.
Objection.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. On the contrary, I haven't finished. What? There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street, found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's ID?
See, that's alright. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the couple dragged him from a pillar to a post with the dog collar.
Mon Dieu, Peppino. I was not so harsh as you say, huh?
So who was that falso inspector, eh? Who was he?
Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night. I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post-haste. Who did the witnesses encounter in the park posing as Inspector Gregson? This guy right here. I gotta fix my hair. I have a kind of man bun situation going on up here, but it's hurting my head, so I gotta fix it. Okay. I think that's better. Goodness me, isn't that? Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Yeah. One of the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passersby.
Objection.
What on earth would a street seller be doing with a police inspector's ID papers? Witnesses, is this the man or not?
What has happened to his lip?
Ah,
See, this man is not for the Red-Headed League, eh? He's looking for the Twisted Lip League, no?
perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead. It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising. Eh? What? The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. Now we get to see that, that lip of his again. Great. Order, order! Bailiff! Bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom. Immediately! And the bruise is front and center. Oh my god. Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising indeed. and identical to that of the witness beside him. What was his voice?
Now, what's going on here, eh? I've always had this, me. It's a birthmark, isn't it?
A birthmark, you say? I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you?
Aye, something about Inspector again. But I'm telling you, you've got it all wrong as usual.
You're denying all knowledge of it?
Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh?
Well, at least you'll have more at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. DeRousseau and Mr. DeRossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you?
Do we have any choice? We are in bigger trouble, eh, couple?
That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony. The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man.
It's right, see? You think we would forget these grand lips, huh? I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I've no interest in any red-headed league.
Unless he's done something to his appearance to look different.
I'm all alone in the world, me. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this?
Unless that's the disguise. Yes. It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man.
What have I been telling you, huh? There was no need for this pointless testimony.
Ugh.
That's right. I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come by a police inspector's identification book, eh?
Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but... Brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something?
I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo.
The man who claimed to be an inspector was definitely not this guy.
Hold it!
So you say. But how can you be quite so certain?
There is no need to earth your hands on the desk, monsieur. Sir, surely the reason is obvious, no? Because I have never before seen lips like this.
Maybe he purposely got stung by a bee. Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. And it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prized collar.
Mon Dieu, with your words, it is like you try to wring my neck. It does look very much like my neck, though, eh? No, this is a birthmark, lad. The biggest lips in London and a neck to die for. Hey, they broke the mold when they made me. For the first time in my life, I feel lucky to have been born with red hair.
And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. So you maintain that you've never seen this man before?
Oui, c'est ça. I swear to it by the flames of my hair.
So fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it? Right, you would think we would forget these grand lips?
Hold it!
Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either.
That is what I am saying. For some reason, it makes me want to eat. How did Fabian call it? An eclair. You know, I've never seen the hair as black as yours before either.
Likewise, I've never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain.
See, maybe it's a national trait, huh? Maybe all the people from this Amanda country have other grander lips.
No, lad, I was born right here on Fresno Street, and I've never left.
Oofa, that isn't a problem, I see.
So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip.
Now, how many times do you want me to say it, eh?
I never leave Fresno Street. No interest in any red-headed league.
Hold it!
But they had money.
So you'd heard of the red-headed league, had you?
You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going off in town. I sold that tasty titbit to a fair few redheads that came past me.
How I wish he would stop flipping it around. That's really the worst part about it. Is that he's like playing with it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Just between us, I even got Sandwich to cough up for it.
Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts.
Who knows?
But as you can see, my own hair's not got a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sidling off to some other part of town. No, sir. Not likely.
Excuse me.
Mr. Diverseau.
Oui?
Can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps?
It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park. A small house or something.
To be the headquarters of your red-headed league, yes.
I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent.
What? Mr. Gossip with a housing agent?
Oui. He had some kind of contract in his hand, and they were clearly discussing terms.
No. You're mistaken, chum. I've never left Fresno Street, May, like I said before. You've mistaken me for someone else. Someone with the same face.
No. The capo is right. I remember it too. He was paying the man with the banknotes.
With notes?
Like I said, that wasn't me.
I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers.
And what name was written? Mr. Gossip?
No. This man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Boone, huh? It's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see? Hugh Boone.
I know that name. I gotta find it now, hold on. Where did I see that? I didn't write it. Sorry, that's me. I'm trying to find it in my notes. No. Oh, sorry, it'd be up. Sorry. No, it's not. Okay, sorry, that's all me. Don't freak out. It's me. I'm sorry. Hugh Boone, that's from this case. Hugh Boone. I think maybe that's the owner of the room where he was found. I think that's what it is. So we don't have anything, like, in evidence or anything about him. It's just in passing they said that. I must have not written it down because it didn't seem important. I don't know. Okay, it's better than Mr. Gossip.
No!
I'm a peddler of tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street, and that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life.
Indeed. and it is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Oh, whatever. Very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records of this trial, assuming no objection.
Objection!
Ah, I got a fucking objection, that's... Yep. I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to the case. Good gracious. Do you similarly object, Prosecutor Asogi? As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings. Well, I never. In what capacity?
Hugh Boone, the name of the leaseholder of the room.
Okay, I remembered with my own brain! Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room. I suggest, sir, that you start talking.
Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case, eh? Or I.
So your real name is Hugh Boone? And apparently he has money.
Well, just between us. I don't like to blow me own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of titbits in town. So I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a falling down back street townhouse.
You do?
And once every 6 months I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time.
Aye. If either of us is a vulgar, it's not a me.
Think again, Peppino. Why didn't you bring this up before?
It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a titbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss.
You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone.
If I must.
So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered has been here under our noses all along. You did so well, thank you. Thank you. I usually don't remember stuff like this, you know. I have to celebrate the wins. He did the Kylie Jenner lip challenge from 2014. It went all wrong. All terribly wrong. We're almost 2 hours into the stream, so I am gonna go take a little break. I can definitely tell that my voice is not super happy, but we don't need to end stream yet or anything. But I'm just gonna go ahead and go take a break a little early. Give it a rest for a little bit. I should be back in about, 5 minutes or so. And when we return, we will continue, see how far we get today in the trial. Yeah, BRB. Alright. I'm back. I think just because of my voice, I might have to end streaming like maybe another hour? Just depends on how I'm feeling. I definitely don't want to end it right now, and my voice doesn't hurt that bad, but I'm definitely still getting back to, what would be the word? The stamina that I had before for stream and doing silly voices and stuff. So maybe we'll do another hour, and we'll end a little early, and then hopefully over the course of next week I'll get that back. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, even yesterday I felt like my voice was a little sore from the stream before, so it's just gonna take some time. Cause like 1, I had a sore throat when I was sick, 'cause I had the flu, and 2, I haven't streamed in a month, so it's like a double whammy in that way. I'm not used to talking at length for so long. I remember that clip. That's a favorite moment of yours? That's a pretty good one. Pretty good moment. Mission in general is very fun. I'm really excited for y'all to eventually be able to take the Best of Bishi survey. I got a lot more work done on it today. Basically, all the Infinite Wealth clips are finally in the survey, ready. You will be able to vote for up to 5. You don't have to vote for 5, but you can vote up to 5. for your favorite clips from Infinite Wealth, because there's literally, I think the number came out to be... Where is it? 137. Basically 140 clips to choose from. So I'm very sorry. Just pick your top 5, you know, top 3 or 4 or 5, whenever you take the survey. And good luck. Yeah, still working on it. That was the big chunk, and hopefully I'll be able to finish the rest of it. Hopefully by the end of next week, maybe. I'm gonna have to set aside a week to go through. I know, I'm sure it's gonna take a while. So we might push the stream with the results to like March or something, you know? I want y'all to have plenty of time to do it. I know it might take a little bit of time, so I'm trying to get it finished as soon as I can so I can get it out to you guys and you guys have time to do it. But I mean, we can do the results stream whenever, so, you know, but I'm working on it. Every day I'm working on it. All right. Let's get back to Ace Attorney. I rent the room where the fellow was found, for what difference it makes. What did we just do? You think we would forget those lips? Okay, so I think we're still pressing.
Hold it!
So, you live in that room, presumably, do you? No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk. Then, why would you want to rent it? Well, I don't think I should have to say, really. Then how about the notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have access to. No, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. A whole board? It's only the other bits and bobs that belong to me. The desk and the chair and that. That's him! No, that's him! It's this fucking dude! It's the same hair! I figured it out. Oh my god, it's so fast. I'm just like, I'm trying to think like, okay. He looks like, you know what I mean? And then of course, there's a picture of his wife in the room. You know? Because when he said the other stuff belongs to me, I was like, wait, that includes the picture. Immediately. Immediately. No, it's him. It's him. I'm gonna go ahead and put in my notes just in case we don't, like, reveal his identity today. Okay, Gossip / Boone, Hugh Boone, is actually, what's his face? Mr. Vigil. But he has changed his appearance a lot. Okay. People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there in your room? Yeah, like the death and everything and the confidential information. I mean, I guess Mr. Vigil, we believe, helped the professor escape, and he used to be a police warden, so that could explain why he has access to this information somehow. He also, I guess, is in with like the Redhead League, maybe. I don't know. But that's him. That's him. Obviously, I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest. It seems to me that Mr. Boone, would rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason. It does come across that way, and more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man. Okay. Time for another exorcism, perhaps. It's his cousin. Soon. His brother. Dune. Alright, so he said there's something about his testimony after we did this. Okay. Let me just... So, dialogue 3... might be what we respond to. Okay. I'm all alone in the world, me. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Which is a lie, because he has a wife.
Hold it!
Yeah, the exorcism clip. You mean you have no family? I think that clip is probably the most iconic Ace Attorney clip that we have. I think so. No, not at all. You no family? And lie detector found that was a lie. I spend my days on Fresno Street peddling tidbits to passers-by. Hoping, just between us that is, that eventually someone else with lips like mine will come along.
I don't think so.
You may be right. Anyway, that mark on your neck is just too much of a coincidence for us to ignore. But what's a fella to do then, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. And there's nothing I can do but flick me lip. Please stop.
Please! I'm begging you!
It looks like I'm not going to get anywhere here unless I can produce some proof. You're basically saying I got dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, aren't you? Well, it's beyond me how you think I could do that. Well, I bet that I could show the photograph to one of his dialogue points, because he says everything in the room belongs to him, which includes that photo, so it's like, why do you have a picture of some dude's wife? And maybe that will start it. Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this?
Hold it!
Maybe you could. Say, with a mustache, or a beard to cover up the lip. Aye, perhaps. But if I was going to stick some fake facial hair on to cover up this fine specimen, I'd end up looking like his lordship up there, wouldn't I? Pardon? I assure you my lips are entirely unremarkable. And I would ask you not to cast such scrutinizing looks in my direction, Counsel. Sorry, my lord. My imagination got the better of me there.
Well, Inspector Gregson did wear a mustache, of course.
You're right, he did. Perhaps he was hiding something himself. He could barely have hidden a crumb in a mustache of that size. And anyway, the detective we spoke with had no facial hair at all.
See, the couple is alright. He was a clean-shaven.
It certainly seems beyond the realms of possibility that this witness could have disguised himself as the victim. Aye, it does, and it is. Okay. That's the extent of their testimony, is it?
What's your feeling, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, what Mr. Boone says is undeniable. It would be all but impossible to hide those lips with any form of disguise.
Perhaps, yes. But nevertheless, the mark around his neck is equally undeniable, and it's identical to the one that Mr. DeRossi suffered.
That's true.
But why does this whole disguise idea just keep playing on my mind?
Because he's wearing a disguise right now. Right now. Yeah, Kazuma looks very nice right now. He looks very nice. Okay. It's definitely not this man. You think we would forget those lips? I rent the room where he was found for what difference it makes. I'm all alone in the world. I have no kinfolk. Why would I be involved in something like that? I think I would respond to this. Just look at me. Does it look like I carry off a disguise with a face like this? It's just like, I feel like I've gotten to the end point, and now I have to figure out how to get there. And this is sometimes where what makes me stuck, because I like jump ahead to a conclusion, but I can't think of like how to get to that part because I'm so focused on the conclusion. So all I know is we have a photo of his prior identity and we have a picture of his wife. I think the picture of his wife is going to be more obvious. It even says he has no particularly distinctive facial feature. I'm going to show the photograph to the kinfolk line. Because then we can say, well, who's this? You know? Let's try it.
Objection.
That's it. Okay, we're getting somewhere. If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it is that among the sparse furnishing, we found this photograph in the room. Ah. I presume, as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not? Oh, well... Mr. Boone, drop the pretense, and tell the court exactly who you really are. I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone. As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. Yes, it does. It's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection.
How can you be so sure? Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide these unmissable features.
Objection.
But what if we were to look at this the other way around? What do you mean? Yes, counsel, what do you mean? Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself part of an elaborate disguise. Yup. Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone? Ah! We're getting him. Good. Witness, are you still hiding the truth from this court? If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be... Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court. No, please, no. Now get that lip out of here! Very well then, counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler who goes simply by the name of Gossip on the street? Daily Vigil. Yeah.
Take that!
Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil. Dale. Yar! I don't recall that name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil? Snip, snip. Gotta rip it off his face like Velcro. Rip it off. Rip it off. It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact. This is Mrs. Vigil. What? From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. That would line up. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed League men. And last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial, because we'd been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you, of course. And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you at the Vigil residence. Now, just you hold on a minute. I don't have the first idea what I'm talking about, really? It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise. Rip it off! No, please! My lip! It's all I've got! Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and a washbowl at once! Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi, you will restrain the witness! What? Oui, my lord! Si, my lord! Ah! He's being restrained by them again! No! Stop! Get off! Don't! The lip is still there. Okay. I was gonna say. See, he's actually kind of pretty. He's actually kind of pretty, though. Why is he pretty? Look at those eyelashes. He looks like he belongs in, like a dating sim with a bunch of pretty boys. He has a 5 head. I mean, it's fine. I know he's a criminal. Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume. Even his clothes are different? Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face. It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witnesses, tell the court, have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but... See, there is no question. This is the inspector we saw in the park. Extraordinary. On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson, who appeared before Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi in the park, was you, disguised as the inspector, or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all. Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Barclay Prison. Chief warder? Then your career had promise. Why, you would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street? Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, his eyebrows, they're curly, huh? There's something about his eyebrows that gets me every time. I can't explain it. It's like, it's a normal eyebrow, and then it gets curly at the end like his hair. I'm really dreadfully sorry about all of this. I'm actually really glad to change his voice. The other voice was killing me. Yes, it's true. I am Daily Vigil. And you were the chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago? Mm-hmm. So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from? Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented. Well, evidently there is a great deal under the surface here. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. He's so sad. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Barclay's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. The times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. So he turned to a life of crime. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Barclay Prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I've never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. The scene of the very crime we're investigating. Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler, and transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. For 10 years. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room. That explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons, and without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead, you decided to conceal your occupation from them. Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence apiece, You couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison. Very true. To have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment. Hey, you must be doing something else. That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I'd invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. The inspector recognized me one day. You mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna start taking some notes on that. So, yeah. Hugh Boone / gossip is Mr. Vigil. Sorry, I sneezed and then I accidentally clicked the controller. I think I already read it though, right? Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. No, I didn't. Oh my god, stop. Stop. I'm trying to write notes and then I had to sneeze. Okay. Alright, so Vigil was fired from Barclay. Then began selling or peddling on Fresno Street in a disguise. He rented the house Gregson was found in. Okay. After a few years, Gregson recognized him. Okay. And then we'll see what else happened after that. I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him. Secret? What was it? I can't tell you, it's a secret. I was to impersonate the inspector. I like his poses. What? Impersonate him? We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Orkseys tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially. So he paid this guy to be him and pretend he was working while he was doing something else? Gregson paid him to impersonate. Okay. Scotland Yard Inspector willingly relinquished his ID into your care with intent to deceive? That, as I am sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense. But why? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, right? Ever. Even if, well, I end up a croaker. So he's breaking that promise right now. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my Boone disguise, and then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's ID book. It never occurred to me the bruise on my neck might give me away. Should have covered that with makeup too. Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case, so... I don't know, man. I don't know. It ain't over till it's over, you know? It ain't over till it's over. I think Phoenix's eyebrows have a little zigzag at the end of them. Don't they? I think Ace Attorney likes to give characters weird eyebrows. I haven't seen Phoenix in so long. Oh yeah, they have like a little weird squiggly. They do. What do you do as a cosplayer, you know? Do you literally make a squiggly eyebrow? I probably would. I wouldn't cosplay Phoenix though. I was gonna cosplay Edgeworth, which I still want to do. I just have no idea when that's going to actually happen anymore. No clue. No idea. My favorite convention doesn't even exist anymore, you know? So I'm like, I don't have like a convention to go to that I know anymore. Sad. Wear a bandana or something. Yeah, a scarf. I don't know. Okay, this destroys the defense's case. Explain yourself, Prosecutor Asogi. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered, at the hands of these two red-headed League men when they imprisoned the inspector. Okay, I don't believe that anymore. But no, that can't be. He tried to slam it on the table and hurt his hands. Oh my god. Sanji cosplayers draw on the curl or make a prosthetic eyebrow, so probably a similar thing. Yeah, I mean, like, realistically I could do that. I just like don't know how good it would look, you know? That's what all I'm thinking of, but I would do that all the time. I would cover my eyebrows with a glue stick and then concealer, like a drag queen, and then I would just draw on the shape. Like when I was Dio, his eyebrows are like up here, so that's what I would do. But it's just like he has a normal eyebrow and then suddenly it's all squiggly, so I probably would do something like that still. I'd probably just draw it on. Father, when can I go be on my own? That can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day, it was me. Oh goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Défense, for proving it. What? Ah! Well, I don't believe that they killed him anyway. Order! Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim, as proven, somewhat ironically, by the defense. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination. Oh shit, we can't even say anything. Okay.
Hold it!
Oh! Kazuma? My friend? Pardon me, my lord. With your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma? What question, counsel? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago. The execution of the professor, Genshin Asogi. I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh. Answer me, man. One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case? Maybe. Maybe not. Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. Does the defense concur, counsel? Cosimo. I mean... I think so, because... these are all about the Reaper. And I think the Reaper started killing after the professor was murdered. So I think it's all coming together. I have some theories and ideas, but we'll just have to wait and see what the truth truly is. Cosimo, you're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual.
But Kazuma-sama, no wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Isoki's last moments, his own father.
I know. I do understand that. But even so...
Prosecutor Isoki, do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me. Please. Very well. The defense has no objection.
I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness.
The truth is, I remember very little of that time.
You've forgotten?
I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy.
I don't think he was fired, I thought.
Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yeah. Sorry?
10 years is a long time, but to have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job.
You're right.
And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know.
Yes.
The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily, which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection.
Sorry? The human spirit?
I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface, and when they do, that fragile spirit may finally be crushed. But I really don't... Kazuma-sama. But if it must be crushed, then so be it, because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out, one way or another. Right. Now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. Should I? Should I present the evidence or not?
Yeah. After I save, of course.
I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Well, yes. In other words, you claim to have left the post of Chief Warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice. And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. What? It's mine? So you didn't resign from the prison service at all. For some reason, you were dismissed as Chief Warder from Barclay. No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure.
I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Oh? Isn't it? Uh-oh. If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been good reason. Clearly, you did something. He got hit. He bonked his head. Too hard. Forgot everything. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. Bring in a hypnotist. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17th of June 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. The 17th of June. Was that Professor's execution? Professor... As you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. This is me trying to remember absolutely anything. Every day. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life. In the cemetery, in the middle of the night, there was a witness. However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head. Oh. Oh, we're back. That was quick. That wasn't too bad. We were only gone for a little bit, right? I think so. We're back. Just need to make sure y'all were paying attention. Yeah, gotta keep y'all on your toes. Also, shot the stream. He's guilty, Your Honor. Execution now! And he shot my router. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're fine. We're having some serious plot right now, man. Well, I don't think you guys missed anything. He's starting, I think, to remember. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warder Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on 17th June 10 years ago, and now it's time for you to drag them up. Akira! Mr. Vigil? Yes. The whole prison. It was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane. What? Order! Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time have returned? My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams.
Oh my goodness.
The papers. There were reports, articles about a man who'd seen a ghost. Yes, Enoch Drebber. But surely those reports were exaggerated. There were traces at the scene.
Traces of what?
In Lowgate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there. Depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. I've reviewed the police records. Anna! We're not reviewing police records, we're reviewing that booty! Anna! Thank you so much for resubscribing at tier 3 for 41 months, my friend. How are you doing today, Anna? I think you were streaming earlier, right? Were you playing some Veilguard, I think? I saw you streaming right before me. Right before I went live. Here is your star, Anna! It's red. Like Kiryu. Like Kiryu's booty in that emote. Welcome in, Anna. I hope you're having a good day. We're playing some great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Doing silly voices. I'm still kind of recovering from being sick and not streaming for a while, so my throat's not very happy with me right now, but I'm trying to power through a little longer until we get maybe to like a good stopping point or something. But we are at a really important part right now. We are in the 4th case where Van Zeeks is on trial. And right now, the warden is finally starting to remember facts from the professor case 10 years ago. That's what we're doing. Yeah, Dragon Age. Yeah. I saw. I just watched for like a second. I had to start stream though. Let's see. I've reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom? I think it was him, yeah. Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? Say what? I remember now. The horror of it all is coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. Oh yeah. The, The Scottish guy. Did you see the new indie Yakuza game where Kuroda's voicing the main character? What? Tell me the name now! I don't think I did. My poor baby's not doing well. He's spinning out of control. I'm just waiting for him to spin faster and faster until he's like, woo woo woo. That's what I want to see. You know, like all the Ace Attorney characters, they eventually like break somehow. I want that to be his break. Just spinning wildly at 100 miles per hour. Turning his brain into scrambled eggs. What's that game? Is it Promise Mascot Agency? I just did a Google search. I think I found it. I'm surprised Kuroda's voicing an indie game. That's so funny though, he's He's playing as a Yakuza again. I've never seen this before. Well, if he's in it, I'm gonna have to play it. Oh my goodness. Aya! Thank you so much for resubscribing for 3 months. Welcome in. Let me get your star. Oh, thank you, Anna. Here is your star, Aya. There you are. Enjoy our emotes and our sound effects and all that good stuff. Okay, let me see. Goodness. Yeah, Promise Mascot Agency main cast voice actor reveal. Takaya Kuroda, Aya no Shibuya, Eri Saito. Wow. I don't know if I should watch the trailer now or just wait. I guess I'll watch it later, because we're not even playing Yakuza right now, but... Kuroda. You know, with the way that the Yakuza series is, I'm like, oh... I want to keep hearing Kuroda's voice in the Yakuza series, but, you know? I want to keep hearing him! Matt just told me about it yesterday. Okay, I'm gonna have to go watch that after the stream. I absolutely will. And I'll probably follow them on Blue Sky. More Kuroda, yes! I need that. I love his voice so much. Even if he's not, like, being a Kiryu, you know, I need to hear his voice. Okay. I'm not gonna do this accent today. My voice is not okay. I'm sorry, Daily, this is serious business, but I can't help you. As Chief Warder, you were responsible for overseeing the execution before. It seems the fellas at Scotland Yard want to have a few words with you about it. You'd better pack your things. You're to attend in person. Okay. I was gonna be like, watch it now. Well, I guess I could. I'll just play it, but I won't pull it up on the screen. How about that? I just want to hear his voice. Let's see. That was gonna be way too loud. Okay. Oh my god. Nichi. Voice by Kuroda. Known as Kazuma Kiryu. Chaos Goblin? Inky? It's a finger! What is that? From Breath of the Wild. It's like a mascot that's a finger? We have a matriarch? Here's a man? Okay. Another mascot? From Deadly Premonition. I don't know this actor. They have some big name VAs. Yeah, Promise Mascot. I just love hearing his voice. Oh my goodness. Well, that looks fun. That does look fun. It's so fun. Just leave this man spiral. Yeah, he can spiral. It's fine. It's fine. He's spiraling. What I do has nothing to do with him spiraling. That looked fun. I'm really surprised at the big names that are involved. He's getting a core workout. We're helping him in the long run, if you think about it. gonna have to go put that on my wish list. On Steam. Okay. As soon as he told me that, my mind went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, Professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Order! Bailiff, fetch a doctor at once! Court is adjourned for today with immediate effect. Oh no.
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day.
Jump scare.
Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean.
Overshadowed by the legacy of the notorious killer.
Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson.
Sorry, I didn't know the voice. It's okay. I looked over like, why am I hearing Seinfeld right now? Oh my god. Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson.
All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
Be continued. Yeah? Okay. I did want to end stream a little early today because of my voice. I guess we can do that. Okay. Works for me! Let's see. Let's take some notes for next time. So... last thing I wrote down was that Gregson was paying him to impersonate him. Okay, so 10 years ago. Here, let me save. And then let's go over here. I promise to Seinfeld responsibly next time. That's okay. Wars. Yeah, that was a really good to be continued, actually. I usually would go for another hour, but because I've been not streaming for so long and I was sick, I'm still kind of recovering from that. The mascot game looks amazing. Yeah! I want to hear Kuroda in that game. Thank you for bringing it to my attention, and I had not heard anything about it. Alright, notes, notes, notes. So, 10 years ago, Vigil was warden at Barclay. Professor supposed to be executed, but Professor survived and quotation reanimated from the grave, then was shot and actually killed, I believe. So the prison, I don't know what the name of the owner of the prison is, but anyway. What to say they? So they thought that Vigil helped him escape is why he was fired. And he might have tried to... I think he tried to jump out the window. I think that's everything I need to write down. I don't know if there's anything else, really. That's it. Sora in a game about a mascot playing a character named Michi. I know, like, oh no, Michi-o? got inspired by you to finish Phoenix's game last month, and I'm doing Apollo now. The new orange-haired girl is not growing on me. Really? Is that, what are you talking about? Trucy? Or is it the... No, it's not Trucy. She has brown hair. Are you talking about the one with, like, the yellow outfit? I think she's the forensic investigator. Oh, I haven't met them yet. Okay. I don't know who you're talking about. I played through the entirety of the first Apollo game, and then I stopped there and got back to Chronicles, and then I still haven't finished Chronicles yet. So as soon as I finish Chronicles, I'm hoping to get back to Apollo, but I also know that the Majima game is coming out soon. So I'm going to be very occupied with that. So we'll just have to see. But I do plan eventually, one day, to get back to Apollo and also Investigations too. But I'm glad that I could inspire you to play some more Ace Attorney. That does make me happy. I enjoy inspiring anyone to play more games, whether it's Yakuza or Ace Attorney. I started the second game and it's very different. Okay, yeah. No worries though, no worries. Like, you didn't spoil anything, but I have not met her yet. We shall have to see how I feel about that character one day. Looking forward to more streaming, hopefully Dead Space. Yeah, I'm hoping next week I can do a full week of streams and we can get back to Dead Space on Friday. Because I definitely want to finish Dead Space. I'm really enjoying the remake. And getting to have a game where Ruuuvo joins me and plays with me on stream. That's always a good time. So excited for more Dead Space eventually. Yeah, I'm glad that y'all are wanting more Dead Space. I definitely want to get back to it. I just can't do it this week, but... Either way, I will be back next Tuesday, hopefully through Friday, at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. I usually stream on those days unless I'm sick or something's going on. I won't be here tomorrow, for instance. But yeah, I'll be back next Tuesday with more Kiwami. I'll probably be playing Kiwami on Wednesday, and then Thursday will be more of this. So if you want to see more Ace Attorney, tune in next Thursday. And then more Dead Space on Friday with Ruuuvo, hopefully. But yeah, there's my social media. I am most active on Blue Sky and YouTube right now. And TikTok's still on there, but it won't be for long, unfortunately. And then we also have a Discord if you'd like to join. If you want to know if I'm not going to be able to stream on a certain day or what I'm playing when, that honestly is the best place to be for that, since I don't always post about it on social media. But it's also a good place to hang out and talk about cosplay and memes and art and video games and all kinds of stuff in there, if you'd like to join. And there's the raid messages if you're coming with us. Oh yeah, there's an Obst. There's an Obst emote. Very good, very good. But yeah, that's it for me. I hope you'll have a great weekend, a great rest of your nights, and thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it, as I always do, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.